For 12 years, I kept one room in my house locked, but I wasn't afraid of thieves. I was afraid someone in my own family would try to get inside. Then, 3 weeks ago, my son Caleb called me. His voice was barely a whisper. "Dad, Serena went into your study." I put my coffee down and sat completely still. Because deep down, I knew this day would come. Ever since Caleb married Serena, she had asked strange questions. How much is the house worth? What kind of investments do you have? Have you updated your will? Caleb thought she was being practical. I thought she was counting. That night, I opened my fireproof cabinet and checked everything. The house deed, the investment accounts, the life insurance, and most importantly, the trust my late wife Carol had created years before she died. Inside that trust was nearly $2 million, and the only beneficiary was Caleb. Serena had no claim to it. The next morning, I went to Caleb's apartment. Serena was already sitting there. I looked directly at her. "Why did you go into my study?" She didn't even flinch. "I just wanted to understand what you've planned for Caleb's future." Then she said something I would never forget. "I'm part of this family now." I looked at her and said, "Being part of a family doesn't mean being entitled to someone's money." Caleb stood silently between us. Then I asked him to come home with me. I unlocked the study. For the first time in his life, I showed him everything his mother had left behind, almost $2 million. Caleb stared at me in disbelief. Then I handed him an envelope. His mother's final letter. He opened it. Minutes later, his voice began to shake. She had written, "Don't become suspicious of everyone. Just watch how people behave when they believe they have nothing to gain from you." Caleb slowly looked up. Then he remembered something. He pulled out his bank statements. "For 22 months, he said, I've paid almost everything." He looked at Serena. She put only $900 into our shared account. Then he asked the question that changed everything. "Were you with me because you loved me? Or because you were waiting for my father's money?" Serena went silent, and then she finally told the truth. "I thought your father had much more." Caleb's face changed. He looked at her and said quietly, "So you weren't waiting for a future with me. You were waiting for my father's money." That was the end of their marriage. 4 months later, they divorced. But what Caleb did afterward surprised me. He refused to take most of the money from his mother's trust. "I don't need $2 million, he told me. "My mother left me something more valuable than money." He decided to create a scholarship fund in her name. That evening, we sat together on the back porch. After a long silence, Caleb looked at me. "Dad, thank you for keeping that door locked." I smiled. "And thank you for finally seeing what was behind it." For 12 years, that locked study had protected my wife's final wish. But in the end, it didn't just protect the money, it protected my son.